And you feel like this is decades away or years away from being too late? If you have this fatalistic attitude and you feel like it's going, we're in almost like a doomsday countdown.
It's not necessarily a doomsday countdown. It's a
out of control countdown.
Out of control, yeah. People call it the singularity, and that's probably a good way to think about it. It's a singularity. It's hard to predict, like a black hole. What happens past the event horizon?
Right. So once it's implemented, it's very different because it will
once
be able to.
Once the genie's out of the bottle, what's going to happen?
And it will be able to improve itself.
Yes.
That's where it gets spooky, right? The idea that it can do thousands of years of innovation very, very quickly.
Yeah.
And then we'll be just ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
We will be like this ridiculous biological shitting, pissing thing trying to stop the gods. No, stop. We like living with a finite lifespan and watching, Norman Rockwell paintings.
It could be terrible, and it could be great. It's not clear.
Right.
But one thing is for sure, we will not control it.
Do you think that it's likely that we will merge somehow or another with this sort of technology and it'll augment what we are now? Or do you think it will replace us?
Well, that's the scenario. The merge scenario with AI is the one that seems like probably the best. Like
for us.
Yes. Like if you can't beat it, join it. That's
yeah.
So from a long-term existential standpoint, that's like the purpose of Neuralink, is to create a high bandwidth interface to the brain such that we can be symbiotic with AI. Because we have a bandwidth problem. You just can't communicate through your fingers. It's too slow.
And where's Neuralink at right now?
I think we'll have something interesting to announce in a few months. That's at least an order of magnitude better than anything else. Probably, I think better than probably anyone thinks is possible.
How much can you talk about that right now?
I don't want to jump the gun on that.
But what's like the ultimate, what's the idea behind it? Like, what are you trying to accomplish with it? Like, what would you like, best case scenario?
I think best case scenario, we effectively merge with AI, where AI serves as a tertiary cognition layer, where we've got the limbic system, kind of the primitive brain essentially. You've got the cortex. So you're currently in a symbiotic relationship. Your cortex and limbic system are in a symbiotic relationship. And generally people like their cortex and they like their limbic system. I haven't met anyone who wants to delete their limbic system or delete their cortex. Everybody seems to like both. And the cortex is mostly in service to the limbic system. People may think that the thinking part of themselves is in charge, but it's mostly their limbic system that's in charge. And the cortex is trying to make the limbic system happy. That's what most of that computing power is oriented towards. How can I make the limbic system happy? That's what it's trying to do. Now, if we can have a third layer, which is the AI extension of yourself, that is also symbiotic. And there's enough bandwidth between the cortex and the AI extension of yourself such that the AI doesn't de facto separate, then that could be a good outcome. That could be quite a positive outcome for the future.
So instead of replacing us, it will radically change our capabilities.
Yes, it will enable anyone who wants to have superhuman cognition. Anyone who wants. This is not a matter of earning power, because your earning power would be vastly greater after you do it. So it's just like anyone who wants can just do it, in theory. That's the theory. And if that's the case, then, and let's say billions of people do it, then the outcome for humanity will be the sum of human will. the sum of billions of people's desire for the future. And
but
that
billions of people with enhanced cognitive ability, radically
Yes.
enhanced.
Yes.
And which would be, how much different than people today? Like if you had to explain it to a person who didn't really understand what you were saying, like how much different are you talking about? When you say radically improved, like what do you mean? You mean mind reading?
It would be difficult to really appreciate the difference. It's kind of like how much smarter are you with a phone or computer than without? You're vastly smarter, actually. You can answer any question if you're connected to the internet. You can answer any question pretty much instantly. Any calculation, your phone's memory is essentially perfect. You can remember flawlessly. Your phone can remember videos, pictures, everything perfectly. Your phone is already an extension of you. You're already a cyborg. Most people don't realize they are already a cyborg. That phone is an extension of yourself. It's just that the data rate, the rate at which, or the communication rate between you and the cybernetic extension of yourself that is your phone and computer is slow. It's very slow. And that it's like a tiny straw of information flow between your biological self and your digital self. And we need to make that tiny straw like a giant river, a huge, high bandwidth interface. It's an interface problem, data rate problem. If you solve the data rate problem, then I think we can hang on to human-machine symbiosis through the long term. And then people may decide that they want to retain their biological self or not. I think they'll probably choose to retain their biological self.
Versus some sort of Ray Kurzweil scenario where they download themselves into a computer?
You will be essentially snapshotted into a computer at any time. If your biological self dies, you could probably just upload into a new unit. Literally.
Pass that whiskey. We're getting crazy over here.
We discovered new and ingenious ways to prolong life. But could the human species achieve the impossible?
It's coming, there's no question about it, probably coming sooner than we think. There are colossal implications, obviously, at every level of society. It's going to change everything. But technology always does. That's not in itself anything new. And I think the key is not to be afraid of it.
Once we decode the language of the brain and connect that to a machine, then we can capture and store the essence of a person as data.
We're looking at the end of our bodies as a permanent residence. Imagine someone who is at the peak of their physical prowess and then just stays that way.
This future was closer than they realized. Scientists were already at the threshold of a new era in human evolution. What innovations are still to come? What dreams of immortality have yet to be fulfilled? What will become of the human species? Thanks to Psychosec, we'll be around to find out. Here's to the next 300 years.
Hey, call hello, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, Bahashim Kwakadash. The ones that pass the elders of great millstone, peace and salutations to you sincere Akim out there pushing the truth across the four corners of the earth. Real quick, you saw the videos that I put up before with Elon Musk. That's the most important one. I mean, it's just real quick. The video speaks for itself. The technology to link the mind up with what we know as the internet, right? The stream of information. That stuff is coming to play. It's coming. Just like the Esau talked about the 5G network, which that's not being implemented yet, but of course, we always go into the scriptures that talks about no man might buy or sell unless you take the mark. And one thing Elon Musk said, which maybe he knows, maybe he doesn't know, is look, you make the choice if you want to be plugged up to the system. But another thing that he was talking about, in order for it to work between your digital self, he said your digital self and your biological self, we have to, right now it's a stream, we have to make it to a river. So they have to turn the frequency up basically, and that's what the whole 5G technology is. And basically, you know, in order for them to build up the 5G technology, in order for them to create the river he's talking about with faster and faster technology, it's going to cost more and more money. It's going to cost millions of dollars, maybe billions of dollars. I don't know the exact number, but it's not basically. They're making an investment by putting that technology up. Okay, it's not gonna, like the scriptures say, no man might buy or sell unless he has the mark. Unless you have that mark, you're connected. Your biological self is connected to your digital self, right? You have that chip in you, which it keeps coming out, keeps coming up. You know, that's the clip I put was Altered Carbon. I could have also put, what is this called? Yeah, well, it's a new movie that came out, also where a guy took the chip as well. So, like it slipped my mind. You can put it in the comment section. But yeah, so it's not going to be optional. In order for you to participate in this man's system, once he implements these things and they make these things law. Because as you can see, these Edomites, they really believe that this is the future. This is the way we must go. Showing you the ways of the fucking devil. As the scriptures say, remember the former things. You know, the technology of the old world in today's age. You know, most people they don't know how to use a damn wheelbarrow. They don't know how to use for some. They don't know how to hook, you know, horses up to a chariot. They don't have any understanding of analog technology. I put it like that because that's what Esau calls it, analog. You know, they couldn't even. They had a record player in front of them. They couldn't even play that because they don't understand. Because technology is moving so much. Esau uses what's called gradualism. Gradually, over time, they rather than doing it super quick where you recognize exactly what he's doing, over time they use that problem reaction solution method, so that we had to move this direction, and that's exactly what's going to happen. And you know, the way that the men of the Lord, we predict that's going to happen, they could easily say, well, look, there's a biological attack. You have to take this chip so we can make sure that you weren't exposed to this you know, biological warfare, whatever. Or they can say, well, look, it's a terrorist attack. In order for us to be able to properly identify you, you need to take this chip. You know, it's many ways. Or look, we have to convert our whole system. This is what reality pushes for us to continue on. This is us becoming gods, us merging with technology, and that's what Elon Musk and Joe Rogan is talking about. And at a point, Joe Rogan actually said, "Are you allowed to talk about this yet?" He said something along those lines. You know, 'cause Joe Rogan's an insider. He has a small taste of, you know, some of the deeper things that Esau talks about. And Elon Musk, he's definitely an insider. So he's already been exposed. And if you watch the entire interview, you know, they go on and on, trying to predict the future and how they'll shape the future. And that just goes to show you the mentality of the white man. Everything is his. Every choice that you make is basically something that he made for you. You know, we're smarter than you, so we get to control what you do. It's all about control. All about being a slave. And if you take this mark, like the scriptures say, you have people who were beheaded for the witness of Yahweh Shai, for the word of God, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands. So you're going to ultimately have people killed for not receiving this technology that they're talking about. And just to show you what's going to happen at the end, because you know, people, the Lord basically put the spirit on these different scientists. The scriptures talk about, behold, I've created the smith. He put it in the minds of these different scientists, all these different technologies, including, of course, the ones that Job talks about, the iron weapon, the bow of steel, the fire that's not blown by coals. But Salakia, what is that? A fire not blown, right? A fire not blown, exactly. That's talking about nuclear fire. But hey, we're pretty much we're pretty much on repeat with dealing with this mark of the beast stuff, because it's coming up so quickly, and you definitely have to stay tuned. But just to jump to the end, Job 20 and 23 says what? When he is about to fill his belly, the Most High shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. And it's talking about this man who hath oppressed and forsaken the poor, which we know is talking about Esau. Okay, it's not talking about the Arabs. The Arabs have not forsaken the poor. You go to the Arabic world, most of those people are doing okay. It's talking about here, where I was just driving near the downtown area, and you got all kind of signs posted up by the city. No begging, no soliciting for money, none of that. Otherwise, they can fine you and throw you in jail. So certain spots, you can't even ask for money. These homeless people out here, they can't even ask for money. Otherwise, they'll get locked up. But some of them like getting locked up anyway because they get fed. But like I said, he shall flee from the iron weapon, and the bow of steel shall strike him through. I'm gonna jump down to verse 29, because this is all about the nuclear missiles. This is the portion of a wicked man from the Most High, and the heritage appointed up unto him by the Most High. And none of this has ever happened yet. Okay, so these Christians talk about Job and he could have been an Edomite. Job was not an Edomite. Job is given the downfall of the Edomites, and none of this prophecy has happened yet. But hey, you have to have the understanding to see it, you know. And shalom to the hopeful elect. Call Allah Yabashim Abushai. Shalom.